I notice him because he's the kind of man women are supposed to notice. He's reading the Wall Street Journal at a corner table in Brew and Bean, my favorite coffee shop, and he looks like he stepped out of a Brooks Brothers advertisement. Dark suit that probably costs more than my monthly rent. Expensive watch. The kind of posture that suggests private school and inherited wealth. He orders an oat milk latte with an extra shot, very health conscious, very CEO. That guy keeps looking at you, Jenna whispers, kicking me under the table. He's looking at the sugar station, I reply, but my heart is doing backflips. He's not looking at the sugar station, he's looking at me. And then, because apparently the universe decided today was my day, he actually walks over. Hi, he says, and his voice is exactly what I expected. Deep, confident, the kind of voice that probably convinces people to sign contracts. I'm Marcus. I noticed you from across the room and thought I'd regret it if I didn't say something. This is the moment. This is the moment every woman waits for. The moment when a gorgeous, well-dressed man with a good job appears and changes everything. I'm Sophie, I say, trying to sound like a woman who gets approached by gorgeous men in coffee shops regularly. I'm not. This has never happened to me before. And I'm flattered, but I should tell you that I'm usually the kind of person who gets hit on by men in my college chemistry class who still live with their parents. He laughs. It's a real laugh, not a polite one. Well, I'm glad I'm an upgrade. You definitely are, I confirm. You own a suit, a real suit, not a suit from a thrift store or your uncle's closet, an actual suit. I work as a CEO, he says, which explains everything. Want to grab lunch sometime? Yes, I say, absolutely yes. This is 3 months ago. Now I'm in his penthouse apartment, which is on the 45th floor and has views of the entire city and art that I'm pretty sure is actually valuable. And I'm starting to notice that Marcus is weird about certain things. Specifically, he gets anxious when I ask about his work. How's the CEO stuff? I ask, snuggling into his chest on his stupidly expensive couch. He tenses. It's fine, boring, very boring. You don't want to hear about quarterly earnings. I don't, I agree, but I want to hear about your day. My day was a lot of meetings and phone calls, very important phone calls. About business things that you would find boring. I'm noticing a pattern. Every time I ask him something specific about his work, he deflects. But I'm choosing to interpret this as he's stressed about work and doesn't want to burden me, which is actually kind of sweet. What I don't know is that Marcus is stressed because his lieutenant just called to tell him that someone tried to steal a shipment, and he's currently deciding whether to have that person killed or just break their legs as a warning. But I think he's just tired from budgeting spreadsheets or whatever CEOs do. I love you, he says suddenly, holding me tighter. I love you too, I say, and I mean it. He kisses my forehead like he's trying to memorize the feeling, which is romantic but also slightly concerning. He's been weird all night, jumpy, like he's waiting for something bad to happen. His phone buzzes. He looks at the screen and I watch his entire body go rigid. Everything okay? I ask. Fine, he says. Just work. I should probably take this. Why don't you get ready for bed? I'll join you in a minute. It's only 9. Right, but you have that early thing tomorrow. I don't have anything tomorrow. Right, well, rest is important. For your health, you should rest. He's definitely weird, but in a way that I find endearing. Like he's so clearly stressed about work stuff that it's sweet. He wants me to rest so I can be healthy. That's the kind of thing a man in love does. I don't know that he's leaving the room to have a very intense phone conversation about whether to have someone killed. I just think he's a caring boyfriend who works too hard. 2 weeks later, I'm starting to realize that Marcus might not be a normal CEO. It's not anything major. It's small things. Like he sometimes gets phone calls where he goes completely silent and just listens for 5 minutes. And when he comes back, he looks like he's aged a year. Like, his hands shake sometimes when he checks his phone. Like he has a safe in his bedroom that requires both a retinal scan and a code, which seems excessive for a CEO. But I'm choosing to interpret these as signs that he's very successful and has important secrets, which is sexy, actually. So what exactly does your company do? I ask one night. We're in bed and I'm trying to sound casual, but I've been curious about this for a while. He goes completely still. Technology, we do tech things. What kind of tech things? Sophie, he pulls me closer. Why are you suddenly so interested in my work? I'm not suddenly interested. I've always been interested. I just want to know what you do all day. I go to meetings. I send emails. I make important decisions about software. What software? It's very technical. You would find it boring. Try me. He's quiet for a long time. I can feel his heart racing. I really don't think this is the time, he says finally. Can we talk about literally anything else? Like your job? Tell me about your job. That's interesting. I'm a dog walker. Right, tell me about that, in detail. For the next 3 hours. This is when I should start to be suspicious. But instead, I think it's cute that he's so interested in my job. So I spend the next hour telling him about Mrs. Henderson's poodle and the golden retriever with anxiety, and he listens like I'm telling him the secrets of the universe. By the end, I'm pretty sure he's distracting me on purpose. But I also don't care, because he's holding me like I'm the most important thing in his life, and that feels nice. I find the gun on a Thursday. I'm looking for a phone charger in his nightstand because mine died, and instead, I find a handgun in a leather holster. For a moment, I just stare at it. Then I pick it up, which, looking back, is probably very dangerous, but I'm not thinking about that, and I realize it's real. It's heavy. It's the kind of gun they have in action movies. I put it back immediately and pretend I never saw it. When Marcus comes home that night, I don't mention it. I'm trying to figure out why a CEO would need a gun. Maybe it's for safety. Maybe Miami is more dangerous than I thought. Maybe he's taking a shooting class as a hobby. Hey, I say casually, do you like shooting sports? He freezes mid-sip of his drink. What? Shooting like clay pigeons, guns. That kind of thing. Why are you asking? No reason. Just wondering if you have any hobbies I don't know about. He's looking at me very carefully now, like I'm a puzzle he's trying to solve. I have a gun for protection, he says slowly. Because I'm a successful businessman with expensive things, and Miami isn't always safe. Oh, I say, that makes sense. Does it? Yeah, it's like insurance, but with bullets. He looks like he's trying not to laugh. Not exactly, but sure, bullet insurance. I think that's smart, I say. I should probably get one, for when I'm walking dogs at night. No, he says immediately. Absolutely not. You're not getting a gun. Why not, if it's good enough for you? You're not the kind of person who needs a gun. I'm not. No, you're the kind of person who needs protection, which you have from me. He says this like he's very serious about it, like protecting me from danger is a personal responsibility that he takes extremely seriously, which is sweet but also kind of intense. Okay, I say. I trust you. And I do. I trust him completely. Even though he's increasingly seeming like he might not be a normal CEO. I meet his friends for the first time, and they are not what I expected. Marcus said he was taking me to a business dinner with some colleagues, and I thought that meant a restaurant with white tablecloths and wine pairings. Instead, we're going to a penthouse that's even bigger than his, and the men inside look like they could be either very successful entrepreneurs or very successful criminals. There's no in-between with these guys. They all have the same vibe, expensive suits, cold eyes, the kind of posture that suggests they've never felt insecure in their lives. One of them has a visible scar on his neck. Another one is just standing by the window, not talking to anyone, which is somehow the most threatening thing about him. Sophie, Marcus says, keeping his hand on my back, this is my business partner, Dimitri. Dimitri, this is Sophie. Nice to meet you, I say, extending my hand. Dimitri looks at my hand like it might bite him. Then he shakes it, and his grip is so strong I think my bones might break. You are very small, he observes. I am, I agree. I'm 5'2", it's a thing. Marcus is very tall, you are very small, it is unbalanced. I think it's cute, another man says. His name is Vincent, and he's looking at me like he's trying to figure out if I'm a threat. You look like you can't hurt anyone. I can't, I confirm. I'm a dog walker. The most violent thing I do is give dogs baths. There's a pause. All 4 men look at Marcus like he's made a terrible mistake. She walks dogs, Marcus says, like this explains everything. For work? Dimitri asks, clearly horrified. Yes, for money, that's what jobs are. The men exchange looks that I can't interpret. Then Dimitri nods slowly. She is very innocent, he says to Marcus. You are corrupting her. I'm not corrupting her, I'm just dating her. You are a corrupting force, Vincent adds. This is clear. I'm starting to suspect that Marcus might be involved in something more interesting than software development. But I'm also starting to think that his friends are very rude, because they keep talking about him like he's not there, and they keep looking at me like I'm a character in a movie they don't understand. I think Marcus is great, I say, and I like him exactly as he is, corruption and all. Everyone looks at me. She doesn't know, Dimitri says to Marcus. She doesn't know what? Marcus asks, his voice tight. About the thing. The business thing. There is no thing. Stop talking about the thing. She will find out, Vincent says. They always find out. Not if you stop talking about the goddamn thing, Marcus snaps. This is the most stressed I've ever seen him. His jaw is tight. His hand on my back is gripping me a little too hard. Can we get some snacks? I ask, trying to change the subject. I feel like this gathering needs snacks. Doesn't anyone have chips? A charcuterie board? Something. Marcus looks at me like I just saved his life. Yes, he says. Let's get snacks. Everyone, stop talking and let's go get snacks. As I'm walking into the kitchen, I catch Dimitri saying to Marcus, she really doesn't know, does she? You haven't told her about. Nope, Marcus says firmly, not discussing it. I'm starting to think that the thing might be more interesting than quarterly earnings. But Marcus seems very committed to not telling me about it, so I'm going to respect his privacy, even if it's making me incredibly curious. Marcus's phone rings at 3 in the morning. I'm asleep, but I jolt awake when I hear his ringtone, which is very aggressive and sounds like a military alarm. He grabs the phone and goes into the bathroom, but I can still hear him through the walls. Tell me, he says, his voice completely different, hard, sharp, like someone flipped a switch in his personality. I can't hear the other person, but Marcus's responses are concerning. Who did it? How much? Kill them. Wait, what? I don't care if they have a family. No one steals from us. Okay, that's definitely not normal CEO behavior. I'm lying in bed, trying to process what I just heard, when he comes back and gets into bed like nothing happened. Everything okay? I ask carefully. Fine, work emergency. It's handled. Did you just say to kill someone? What? No. I said call Tim, my assistant Tim, and that we should be billed for something. That doesn't sound like what you said. You were half asleep. You probably didn't hear correctly. He's right, I was half asleep, but I'm pretty sure I heard him say the word kill. Although, maybe I misheard. Maybe he said something else. Maybe he said will them something, or skill them. This is what I tell myself so I can go back to sleep. In reality, Marcus just ordered a hit on someone who tried to steal $3 million worth of product. But I don't know that. I just know that my boyfriend is very stressed about work and probably says weird things when he's tired. Marcus has to go on a business trip for a week, and I'm starting to realize that his business trips are very different from normal business trips. For one thing, he doesn't tell me where he's going. He just says out of town and then disappears for a week. For another thing, he comes back with a cut on his hand that he won't explain. What happened? I ask, taking his hand carefully. Nothing, work accident. It looks like a stab wound. It's not a stab wound, it's a paper cut, from very aggressive paper. Paper doesn't make cuts that big. This was very aggressive paper. I'm learning that Marcus lies very badly when he's trying to hide something. But I'm also learning that I don't actually want to know what he's lying about. Because if he's involved in something serious, knowing about it would make me complicit. So I'm just going to accept that he had a paper cut and move on with my life. When he gets back, though, he's different. Quieter. He holds me like he's afraid I'm going to disappear. He keeps kissing my forehead and telling me he loves me. What's going on? I ask. You're being weird. I'm just making sure you're real, he says. That this is real, that I'm not dreaming. You're not dreaming, I'm real. Though I might be asleep, I haven't decided yet. Don't joke, promise me you'll stay, no matter what. No matter what? Just no matter what. If things get complicated. If you find out things about me that don't make sense. If my life is different than you think it is. Marcus, you're scaring me. I know, I'm sorry, I just need you to promise. I promise, I say, because I do love him and he's clearly dealing with something. I promise I'll stay. He pulls me close and holds me like that's the only thing keeping him alive. I start seeing things that I can't ignore. There's the encrypted phone that I accidentally find when I'm looking for my own phone. There are the late-night meetings with men who definitely don't work in software development. There's the time I see a stack of money on his desk that's easily over $1 million, and when I ask about it, he just says, investment returns. Investment returns don't come in stacks of hundreds. There's also the matter of his apartment, which has a panic room, an actual panic room, with supplies for 2 weeks. Weapons, cash, fake passports. Why do you have a panic room? I ask when I stumble upon it. For security purposes, he says. Important CEOs have panic rooms. Do they also have fake passports? Those are for travel, international business stuff. One of them has your picture, but a different name. That's just for fun. I'm a spy enthusiast. I'm starting to think that Marcus might not be a CEO at all. I'm starting to think that Marcus might be involved in something illegal. But I'm also in love with him, and he's been nothing but kind and gentle and protective. And maybe I don't actually want to know the truth, because knowing would change everything. So I'm just going to keep pretending that I believe his lies. The FBI shows up at his apartment on a Tuesday morning. I'm there because I spent the night, and I'm in his shower when I hear his front door get kicked in, which is alarming. I grab a towel and come out to find 6 federal agents pointing guns at Marcus, who is standing very calmly in the middle of his living room like this is a normal Tuesday. "What's happening?" I ask. Everyone stares at me. "Who are you?" one of the agents asks. "I'm Sophie, I live. Well, I don't live here, but I've been spending a lot of time here." "Who are you?" "FBI," another agent says. "We have a warrant to search these premises for evidence of drug trafficking, money laundering, and—" "Okay, I think there's been a mistake," I interrupt. "Marcus is a CEO, he works with software." The agents' exchange looks like I just said something hilarious. "Ma'am," one of them says very carefully, "this man is a suspected cartel distributor. We have evidence that he's been moving cocaine through Miami for the past 5 years." I look at Marcus. Marcus looks at me with the expression of someone who just watched their entire life fall apart. "That's not accurate," he says. I'm just a successful businessman." "You're under arrest," the agent says. They handcuff him, and he doesn't resist. He just keeps looking at me like he's trying to communicate something through eye contact alone. As they're taking him out, he says, "Sophie, I can explain." "Don't," I say, because if he explains, then it's real. If he explains, then everything I've been choosing to ignore becomes something I have to confront. He gets taken away by the FBI, and I stand in his apartment in a towel, dripping wet and completely shocked, and I have to finally admit to myself that I have been dating a cartel boss. I don't leave his apartment immediately. I just sit on his very expensive couch and process. So Marcus isn't a CEO, he's a drug dealer. A very successful drug dealer, apparently, based on the amount of money the FBI finds in his safe. They let me get dressed and stay while they search, which feels weird but also makes sense because I'm a material witness. "How long have you been dating him?" An agent asks me. 3 months. "And you had no idea what he actually did?" "He said he was a CEO. He's not a CEO." "I know that now." The agent looks at me like I'm the dumbest woman on the planet, which, fair. "How did you not notice?" he asks. "He has encrypted phones. He has a panic room. He has multiple fake passports." "I noticed those things," I admit. "I just thought they were hobby-related. Like I thought he was into espionage as a fun thing, I don't know." "I wasn't thinking very hard about it." "You weren't thinking at all about it," the agent corrects, which is fair but also rude. After they're done with their search, they ask me a lot of questions about Marcus, his associates, his operations. I tell them that I don't know anything because I genuinely don't. I thought he sold software. I thought his scary friends were just Russian businessmen. I thought the guns were for collecting. I was very, very wrong. When they finally leave, I sit alone in Marcus's penthouse, and I have an existential crisis. I was dating a criminal, a cartel boss. I was in love with someone who was literally dealing drugs and probably doing other criminal things that I don't even want to know about. And the worst part, I'm still in love with him. Even knowing what he actually does, even knowing that he lied to me consistently, even knowing that our entire relationship was built on him hiding who he actually was, I still love him. I leave his apartment and go home and cry into my pillow for 3 hours. Marcus's lawyer calls me 3 days later. "Your boyfriend has made bail," she says. "He'd like to see you." "I can't see him, he's a criminal. I'm supposed to hate him." "That's probably not what's happening emotionally," she says. "But he's posted bail and he's hoping you'll meet him. There's a coffee shop. He says you know the one. It's our coffee shop, the place where we met, where everything started. I shouldn't go, I know I shouldn't go, but I go anyway." Marcus is sitting at the table where I first saw him, and he looks smaller somehow. Or maybe I'm just seeing him differently now. He's still wearing an expensive suit, but I can see it for what it is now, armor, not success. "Hi," he says when I sit down. "Hi," I reply. "I'm sorry," he says, "for lying to you, for not telling you what I actually do, for letting you think I was someone I'm not. Are you sorry that you're a cartel boss?" I ask. "Or are you just sorry that I found out?" He thinks about this for a long time. "Both," he says finally. "I'm sorry that I'm a cartel boss, because I hate what that makes me. But I was always going to be a cartel boss. That's not something I'm choosing to apologize for now. I'm sorry that I didn't tell you, because you deserved to know who I was. You deserved a choice." I did deserve a choice, I agree. And I didn't get one, so now I get to choose what happens next, and I'm choosing to not see you. Because even though I love you, I can't love someone who deals drugs and kills people. "I understand," he says. "I deserve that." "You do," I agree. But then he looks at me, and his eyes are so sad that I break a little. "I love you," he says. "I know that doesn't matter. I know that doesn't change anything. But I need you to know that I love you, and I would never hurt you. And I will spend the rest of my life regretting that I didn't just close that gap in the coffee shop without being a total asshole. I want to leave. I want to tell him that his love doesn't matter, that he lied to me, that he's a criminal and I can't be with him. But instead, I cry. Right there in the coffee shop where we met, I cry because I'm in love with a man I can't be with. Over the next week, I can't stop thinking about Marcus. I'm a dog walker. My job is to walk dogs and think about things, and I'm thinking about Marcus a lot. The thing is, he's right. He is sorry. Not just sorry that I found out, but genuinely sorry that he lied to me. And he was right that I deserved a choice. But he's also a cartel boss. That's not a small lie. That's a massive, fundamental aspect of his personality that he hid from me. So I'm torn between loving him and hating him, which is the worst feeling. On Friday, Jenna calls me. "Okay, so I know this is weird," she says, "but Marcus called me." "He called you?" "Yeah, he wanted to know how you were doing. He wanted to know if you were okay. He's been calling every single person you know to check on you." "That's stalking. That's love," Jenna corrects. "Sophie, he's obsessed with you. Not in a creepy way, in a way that's actually kind of romantic if you ignore the fact that he's a criminal." "I can't ignore that." "Why not?" "Because he's a criminal, Jen. He deals drugs. He probably has people killed. He's not boyfriend material." "He seems like boyfriend material to me," Jenna says. "He's hot, he's rich, he clearly loves you, and he's going to prison anyway. So at least you'd have a good excuse for why you're dating a cartel boss." "That's not a good excuse." "It's the best excuse," Jenna insists. "Sophie, you love him. Just admit it." "I do love him," I say, "but I can't be with him. That would make me complicit. That would make me a bad person." "You're already complicit," Jenna points out. "You didn't report him. You didn't tell the FBI anything except what they already knew. You're morally gray already. You might as well be in love while you're being morally gray." "That's not how morality works." "Probably not, but it's how love works." After I hang up with Jenna, I sit with the fact that she's right. I am already complicit. And I do love Marcus. And he's going to prison, which means I can love him from a distance without having to actually be involved in his criminal activities. Maybe I can see him again. I call Marcus. He answers on the first ring like he's been waiting for my call. "Sophie," he says, and his voice is so hopeful that I almost change my mind. "Hi," I say. "I was wondering if we could talk. Actually talk, not about his job or my lies, but about us. And whether there's an us to talk about." "There is," he says immediately. "There's definitely an us. Even though you're a criminal. Even though I'm a criminal, and even though I lied to you, and even though I'm going to prison. If you want there to be an us, there is." "When do you go to prison?" 3 months. My trial is in 2 months, and I'm expecting a sentence of about 5 to 10 years. "So we have 3 months, I say. "We have 3 months, he agrees. "That's not a lot of time." "No, but it's more time than I deserve." I drive to his apartment, and when I walk in, he pulls me into his arms and holds me like he's afraid I'm going to disappear. "I'm going to hate this," I tell him. "I'm going to hate that you're a criminal. I'm going to hate that you lied to me. I'm going to hate that I love you anyway." "I know," he says. "I'm sorry about all of that." "You should be." But I kiss him anyway, because I'm apparently someone who loves criminals now, and I've accepted that about myself. Now that Marcus doesn't have to lie anymore, he actually talks to me about his life. It's horrifying and fascinating in equal measure. "So you've killed people?" I ask one night. We're in bed and I'm trying to understand the scope of his crimes. "Yes," he admits, "but only people who were trying to kill me first. I'm not a psychopath, I have rules." "What are your rules?" "I don't hurt innocent people. I don't hurt women or children. I don't sell to people who are going to hurt themselves with my product. And if someone steals from me, I give them a warning first before I escalate." Those are not a great set of rules. "I know, but they're my rules." "How many people have you killed?" "I don't know exactly. Maybe 10, 15. It's been 5 years in the business." I process this. My boyfriend has killed somewhere between 10 and 15 people. That's a lot. "Why did you get into this?" I ask. "Money," he says. "My family was poor, really poor. I wanted to be rich. I wanted to never have to worry about money again. And this was the fastest way to get there." "And now you're going to prison." "Yes, I'm going to prison because one of my associates decided to snitch, and I have very bad luck with the legal system." "Do you regret it?" He thinks about this for a long time. "I regret hurting people," he says. "I regret the violence. I regret the impact I've had on so many lives. But I don't regret meeting you. And I don't regret being exactly who I am, because if I wasn't this person, I wouldn't have met you." That's a weird way to justify being a criminal. I'm not justifying it. I'm just saying that there's a silver lining, and you're the silver lining. "I hate that I find that romantic," I say. "I know, me too." Marcus's trial lasts 3 weeks, and it's the most stressful 3 weeks of my life. I sit in the courtroom every single day, watching as the prosecution presents evidence of his crimes. Wiretaps of phone calls where he's ordering people to commit violence. Financial records that show millions of dollars flowing through shell companies. Testimony from his associates who have agreed to testify against him in exchange for reduced sentences. It's very clear that he's guilty. The worst part is watching him defend himself against charges that are completely true. He can't deny that he's been dealing drugs because the evidence is overwhelming. So his lawyer tries to argue for leniency, saying that he's never been arrested before, that he has no prior criminal history, that he's committed himself to rehabilitation. It's not working. When the judge sentences him to 8 years in federal prison, Marcus doesn't flinch. He just looks at me, and I see something in his expression that I can't name. Resignation, acceptance, relief. After the sentencing, he gets to spend one more day with me before they take him away. We spend it in his apartment, in bed, holding each other. "I don't want you to wait for me," he says. "What? 8 years is a long time. You're going to change. You're going to meet someone else. Someone who isn't a criminal. Someone who doesn't have a felony. You should be with that person." "I don't want to be with that person," I say. "I want to be with you." "Sophie, I'm going to prison. I'm going to be gone for 8 years. Your entire 20s are going to pass while I'm locked up. Don't do that to yourself." "I'm not doing anything to myself. I'm choosing you." "You shouldn't choose me." "I am anyway." He holds me tighter and doesn't argue anymore. Marcus goes to a federal penitentiary upstate, and I become a woman who visits her boyfriend in prison every Saturday. It's not glamorous. It's a visitation room with plastic chairs and vending machines. We can touch, but only for a kiss, hello, and goodbye. We can talk, but we can't be alone. There are guards and other inmates and other visitors all around, but I go every single Saturday without fail. Over the years, I watch him change. He gets more muscular from working out. His hair goes gray. He reads a lot and starts to seem less like a criminal and more like a guy who's serving his time and accepting his punishment. We talk about everything except his crimes. We talk about books and movies and my dog-walking business. We talk about what he's going to do when he gets out. We talk about whether we're still in love. We are. Even after 8 years of visiting him in prison, we're still in love. The other inmates start calling me the faithful girlfriend. I become a minor celebrity at the prison. Women tell me that what I'm doing is beautiful and tragic. Men tell me that I'm wasting my life waiting for a felon. Maybe I am, but it's my life to waste. Marcus gets released on a Tuesday in November. It's been 8 years, almost to the day, since he was arrested. I'm standing outside the prison with a suitcase of clothes for him because I learned a long time ago that he needs normal clothes to transition back to the real world. When he walks out, he looks different. Older, more real somehow. Like prison has burned away all the lies and left something genuine. He sees me, and his face breaks into a smile that I've missed every single day for 8 years. "Hi," he says. "Hi," I reply. He pulls me into his arms, and we stand in the parking lot of a federal penitentiary, and I know that I made the right choice. "I'm sorry it took 8 years," he says into my hair. "I know. But you're here now." "I'm here now," he agrees. "And I'm never leaving you again, not even for a second." Marcus has to do community service and probation, which means he can't work in any job that's glamorous or high-paying. He gets a job working construction, which is perfect because it's honest work and it builds character. And it means he comes home exhausted every day and falls asleep holding me. I move him into my apartment, which is tiny and nothing like his penthouse, but he seems to like it. He likes the smallness. He likes the simplicity. He likes the fact that it's a normal life. We get a dog. A rescue dog that's been abused and is aggressive to everyone except us. We name him Justice, which Marcus finds hilarious because of his criminal background. "This is poetic," he says, petting Justice. "I'm a criminal who's adopted a violent dog. We're perfect for each other." "You're not a criminal anymore," I remind him. "Once a criminal, always a criminal," he says, "but I'm a reformed criminal. That's different." We don't get married because we both agree that marriage is a construct designed by capitalist society to extract money from people, and we're philosophically opposed to it. But we talk about it. And sometimes, Marcus still calls me the love of my life, and I call him the guy I'm dating who used to sell drugs. It's romantic in a weird, broken way. One day, about a year after Marcus is released, we're sitting on my apartment's tiny balcony, and he tells me something he's never told anyone. "I would have told you," he says. "At some point, I would have told you what I actually did. I wasn't going to lie to you forever." "When would you have told me?" I ask. "When I thought you were ready, when I thought you could handle it, when I thought I couldn't hide it anymore." "And when would that have been?" "Probably after a year or two. I was testing to see how much you trusted me, how well you accepted the things that didn't make sense. I was trying to figure out if you were someone who could love me even knowing what I was." "And was I?" "You are," he says. "You loved me without even knowing. So yes, you're someone who can love me completely." "I love you despite what you did," I clarify, "not because of it." "I know, and that's the best love there is." 5 years after Marcus's release, we're doing remarkably well. He's been promoted to supervisor at his construction job. I've expanded my dog-walking business into a full-service dog-sitting company with 3 employees. We're saving money. We're planning a future. And we've finally started talking about marriage. "I know we said it was a capitalist construct," Marcus says one night, "but I want to marry you anyway. I want to promise you forever in front of people." "Who would we invite?" I ask. "My mom doesn't know about your criminal past. Your family abandoned you when you went to prison. My friends would think it's weird." "So we elope," Marcus says. "We go to Vegas and get married in a chapel and don't tell anyone." "That's actually romantic," I admit. "I'm a reformed criminal. I know about romance." We get married in Vegas the following month. Just the 2 of us and an Elvis impersonator. It's the most perfect, ridiculous thing that's ever happened to me. By year 10 after Marcus's arrest, we're living a life that I never thought was possible. We own a house. A small house, but it's ours. Marcus has started his own construction company with money he saved while in prison. I have a successful business. We have a dog that loves us. We have a life that's boring and normal and completely, utterly perfect. Do you ever miss it? I ask Marcus one day. The cartel stuff, the danger, the money. "Every single day," he says, "but not enough to go back." "Would you go back if you could?" "No," he says, "because I would lose you, and you're worth more than any empire." It's a cheesy line, but he means it, and that's what matters. Marcus and I are sitting in the backyard of our house, and I'm reflecting on how we got here. We met in a coffee shop, and he lied to me for 3 months about being a CEO. I discovered his lies when the FBI arrested him. He went to prison for 8 years. I waited for him. He got out. We got married. We built a life together. It's not the normal love story. It's the love story of a woman who accidentally fell in love with a cartel boss and then spent 8 years waiting for him to get out of prison so they could be together. "You know what's funny?" I say to Marcus. "What?" he asks. "When I was in college, I had this list of things I wanted in a boyfriend. He had to be successful. He had to be honest. He had to be kind." "I'm not any of those things," Marcus says. "You are now," I reply. You're successful at running your construction company. You're honest about your past. You're kind to me and to everyone around you. I'm not successful like I was before. No, but you're more successful now because you're happy. And that's a different kind of success. Marcus pulls me close, and I lean into him, and I know that we're going to be okay. Because we made it through the worst and we're still here. We're still choosing each other. We're still in love. And that's the greatest love story of all. Years later, when people ask me how I ended up married to a former cartel boss, I tell them this story. And they always ask the same question: how did you not know? And I always give them the same answer. Because I was in love, and love makes you oblivious. Love makes you believe the most ridiculous lies. Love makes you see what you want to see, not what's actually there. Marcus laughs every time I tell this story. He says that I'm being too hard on myself. He says that he's a very convincing liar. He says that he had years of practice in deception. But the truth is, I was in love with him before I even knew his name. And that love made me blind to everything else. Is that sad? Maybe. Is it romantic? Definitely. Is it a good love story to tell people? Absolutely. Because at the end of the day, Marcus and I found each other. We made it through the worst. And we built a life together that's full of love and laughter and dogs and home-cooked meals. We're not a normal couple, but we're happy. And that's all that matters.